Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTT. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the second ordinary session of the year 2020, four projects on the agenda at the National Assembly. For the international scene, a new South African variant detected in United Kingdom. Welcome to our newsroom. We regret to announce the death of Mohammed Mahmoud Haid in early evening in Djibouti. The late Mohammed Mahmoud Haid, a former railway employee, was the brother of the First Lady Khadra Mahmoud Haid. The deceased was the brother-in-law of the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh. In these painful circumstances, we share the grief of the family of the late Mohammed Mahmoud Haid and offer our sincere condolence to all his family, especially to the First Lady Khadra Mahmoud Haid and the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh. May God welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. In accordance with the Article 2020 of the Internal Regulations, the fourth plenary session of the second ordinary session of the year 2020, the National Assembly met on Thursday, 24 December 2020. The plenary was chaired by Muhammad Ali Humed, the Speaker of the National Assembly, with the participation of the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the Member of Parliament and Member of Government. The agenda included the following items: draft law on political pluralism during elections and amending certain provisions of the organic law relating to election. Second reading, draft law establishing the Djibouti Standards and Quality Agency. Draft finance law relating to the defined regulations of the state for the financial year 2019. Financial bill, the initial state budget for the financial year 2021. In his introductions, the President of the MISEC, Muhammad Ali Humed, made a point of underlining the procedural framework relating to the text submit on the MISEC concerning the exchanges. The audience engaged in a consequent debate illustrated by the various interventions of the parliamentarian tour, the executive, and the insight provided by members of the government in response. As for the theme, review with democracy and good governance, health, food standards, the fight against inflation. At the end of the debate, the President of the National Assembly closed the plenary session by reminding the committee to deal with their text as soon as possible. Concerning the question and response, this is the Member of Parliament telling it is abnormal that our expenses are more than our income. Why it is abnormal? So my question is what are doing to establish a general policy of administrative reforms? Thank you. We are going to carry out the Minister of Trade respond. We are going to carry out our plan to modernize the management of human resources in measured step, and we are first going to revisit the text that hinder our administration. This is what we have done from the outset. Today, I can assure you, you have the first documents, the draft masters and the general status of the civil servants at the level of the primacy to put these documents under the critical files of the government. And this text precisely, which was handed over by an ad hoc committee, normally the strategy that we have adopted and modernized. And for the second question and response, he said Djibouti is already the epicenters of eastern regions that we have adhered to international agreements, especially in the file of trade that existing before creations of this agency is sovereign countries, and the missions of the agency for standardizations and promotion of good quality is to ensure the realizations of work, and this carries both specific and technical missions is direction ministry. For his part, Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed indicated they put in place the new normalization agency. Listen to the Prime Minister.
On ne doit pas dépenser plus que ce qu'on reçoit. Indique-moi un pays qui ne connaît pas de déficit.
We must not spend more than what we receive. Shows how a country that does not have any defects, even momentarily, on its financial accounts. Every country does the same thing we do. We need to invest in countries. Either we have our own resources and we invest, or we resort to external employment and put them back into the countries. And this normally sometimes also leads to temporary defects in the financial accounts. This is the framework for the 2019 budget. If a defect is quite normal, but it doesn't get any better than that, the country is bankrupted. Far from it, the LANA, the buildings, laboratory, everything else, everyone has their job. No one will lose their job. Every department will be linked and connected to a ministry. There will be no confusion between departments, first of all. That you have to know what the rule of the agency is. Or when there is an example, there are imports, electrical equipment. You have an electrical appliance that is 32 amps. It's okay. I'll plug in my air conditioner. It explodes. You have to ask the EDD. We have to be in conformity. Where is this appliance coming into the country? If it's not the EDD, it's that there has to be an agency that lays down the standards. There are foods products that arrive in the countries. These food products are analyzed there. But what are they analyzed against? The country has to have the weapon first before the LANA or the building laboratory can say that the building laboratory has to comply with the standards. What is the electrical part that the food analysis laboratory has to comply with? The standards that the government has decreed.
The National Assembly held its Conference of Presidents on Thursday, 24 December 2020, to transmit the pending bills to the various standing committee and to set the date for the next plenary session is conducted in accordance with the Article 12 and 21 of the Rules of Procedure by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Ahmed. This Conference of Presidents was attended by Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, Hassan Umar Mohammed, members of the Bureau of Assembly Committee and Group chairmen, as well as the General Rapporteur of the budget. At the end of the exchanges, 3 new draft laws were transferred to the committee, which break down as follows: as approving financial account of ONIAT for the 2018 financial year, authorizing the ratifications of the protocol amending the Chicago Conventions on International Civil Aviation on the adoption of the 2018 financial account of the National Tourist Offices of Djibouti, and the public session is scheduled for Sunday, December 27, 2020 in the late morning. The Ministry of Women and Family, the Ministry of Muslim Affairs, in partnership with the UNFPA in Djibouti, held this morning at the Sheraton Hotel the closing ceremony of a symposium on religious leaders of the sub-region on total abolition of the female genital mutilation, driven by its willingness and determination to strongly and fervently respect the zero tolerance against female genital mutilation program. The Republic of Djibouti is constantly carrying out activities likely to raise the awareness of the Djiboutian population on the danger of these ancestral practices, to expressly prohibit female genital mutilations and to promote the abandonment of these traditions, which only increases the absolute numbers of girls subject to these practices. It must be acknowledged that a lot of effort have been made in the fight against female genital mutilations, notably the Ministry of Women and Family, the Ministry of Waqf and Cultures, the UNFPA of Djibouti, and the UNFD, but there is still a long way to go. For his part, the Minister of Cultures and Waqf Property, Mumin Hassan Barre, in his intervention highlighted that the Djiboutian government criminalizes female genital mutilations and indicate that these practices will no longer be tolerated. He expressed confidence in the success of this event, where fruitful discussion took place on the importance of encouraging those who already wish to abandon FGM, but also dissuading those who fear prosecution. He finally recalled that the enactment of a national law as an important step toward the elimination of the FGM. A ceremony to hand over ambulances and other equipment in support of the Civil Crisis Steering Committee took place this morning in the presence of the head of the cabinet of the Prematum, Ali Silai Abdallah, of the senior officials of the United Nations system, including Miss Barbara Manzi, and the representative of World Health Organization in Djibouti. A total of 9 equipped ambulances and medical equipment for protection against COVID-19, which is intended to strengthen the capacity of Djibouti's land border crossings. The ambulances and medical equipment were handed over by the representative of the World Health Organization in Djibouti to the representative of the Prime Minister Ali Silai Abdallah. The Chief of Staff of the Prime Minister's office is handed over by the representative. The representative thanked the Prime Minister, who is the President of the Steering Committee, for having trusted the World Health Organization, for having requested both its technical and operational support. The equipment donation is composed of 9 ambulances and of a laboratory equipment, and the donation is given to the Steering Committee is a major asset for the response to COVID-19, since it's intended to strengthen the capacity of Djibouti's land border posts in terms of COVID-19 screening. The representative also specified that a second tranche will arrive in the coming weeks. We are delighted to support the Steering Committee in preparing and responding to this global COVID-19 pandemic and to any other risks to the health of the population. For his part, the representative of the World Health Organization, who was pleased to support the Steering Committee in the preparation and the response of this global pandemic, said that to any other health risks for the Djiboutian population. For his part, the Chief of Staff of the Prime Minister's office, Ali Silai Abdallah, thanked on behalf of the former, on the name of the Prime Minister, who is also the chairman of the World Health Organization's Committee. Meeting in Naha, capital of Okinawa, between His Excellency Ahmed Raita Ali and the ambassador of Djibouti to Japan, and Denis Tamaki, governors of Okinawa Prefecture. The interview was reported on NNK, the state-owned television stations. Indeed, this while passing through Naha, the capital of Okinawa, and on the initiative of the Djiboutian ambassador, this explorations meeting was most crucial, cordial and positive. The governors of Okinawa welcomes this first meeting at the knowledge the existence of several similarities with Djibouti. Economically, Okinawa Prefecture has created a special free trade zone similar to that of Djibouti. As for the tourism sector, there are possible exchanges to develop strategy which could the interest of investors from Okinawa in the hotels and concerning the sectors, catering sectors in Djibouti. Discussions also focused on cultural exchanges and possible agreement in education. There are 7 universities in Okinawa, and several are interested in international relations and students exchanges. As the population of Okinawa archipelago is multi-ethnic and multilingual, it will be all the easier to create bond on the friendship with the Republic of Djibouti, in addition to sharing common values. During the day of 23 and 24 December, the Ministry of Urbanism, Environment, Tourism organized at the People's Palace an awareness raising on gender equality and trainings on gender mainstreaming in an environmental project. This training was aimed at the executive of the Directorate and Environment of Sustainable Development and partners of this institution in the implementation of the project on marine protected areas. Today's training is a part of the project entitled Mitigating Sectoral Pressure on Marine and Coastal Biodiversity and Strengthening the National Effective Management Systems for the country's marine protected area. The objective of this training was to introduce the concepts of gender and gender equality into environmental projects while equipping these senior managers with the necessary tools for greater gender responsiveness. In the mornings of Wednesday, 23 December, the 11 a.m., the meeting room of the General Staff of the National Gendarmerie, located at Captain Hamadou Barracks, hosted a meeting of the ceremony for handed over of the batch of military equipment offered by free of charges of the National Gendarmerie by Salim Levente, Ambassador of Turkey to Djibouti. Also present at the ceremony were the defense attaché to the Turkish embassy in Djibouti, the deputy chief of staff of the gendarmerie, and several senior officers. The batch of military equipment, consisting of a rifle team, gas grenade, and hand tear gas grenade, was received by the chief of staff of the National Gendarmerie, Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, who thanked the Turkish ambassador for this generous contributions for his part. The Turkish ambassador said he was proud of these gestures while affirming his willingness to always work to strengthen cooperation ties between the two countries. IGAD Executive Secretary Dr. Werkene Gabayou received this morning the Chargé d'Affaires of the Kingdom of Morocco in Djibouti, Mr. Mbarik Haddawi. During a working sessions during this meeting, Mr. Haddawi handed over to Mr. Gabayou Morocco's request to join IGAD as an observer member, as well as the draft finalized between the two parties. Morocco's request to join IGAD as an observer member and to sign a cooperation in its MOY is in line with the Kingdom of Morocco's policy of opening up to regional and international organizations in accordance with the policy outlined by the King of Morocco and on South-South and inter-African cooperation, particularly after Morocco's return to its institutional family, African Union, in 2011. The request of the Kingdom of Morocco will be examined at the next meetings of IGAD Executive Council. As part of its capacity building activity for IGAD, a member of state, the IGAD security programs organized a national workshop on the role of the public media in the fight against terrorism and the prevention of violent extremism. The workshop was animated by the experts and numerous journalists, including a group of journalists from RTD, participated in the 3-day training, which was closed yesterday with the presentations of certificate of participation. The results of the training will be used by journalists in their daily tasks activity to propose and disseminate objective information in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism. Djibouti Climate and Development Network, in close collaboration with the UNDP, the City of Aperas Associations, the prefectures, and the regional council, organized a cleanup and awareness raising day in Ali Sabih. A delegation of the Djibouti Climate and Development Network, led by its president, Mr. Ahmed Al-Dimbio, went to the towns of Ali Sabih on Tuesday, December, to take part in the cleanup and awareness raising day entitled Preserving Our Environment. The delegation was welcomed by the prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, the president of the regional council, Omar Ahmed Wais, very early in the mornings, as a real alchemy of complicity and voluntary committee animated the Asachok from all sides to overcome the accumulation of household waste everywhere in their city. Halfway through the cleanup actions, everyone noticed that it is possible to overcome the instability of the city. To this end, it is time to work hard to change the mentality of the inhabitants. Subsequently, a ceremony for the awarding of the certificate of award to the cleanest district in Ali Sabih took place at the regional council of Ali Sabih. The ceremony was attended by the prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, the president of the regional bodies of decentralizations, Omar Ahmed Wa'ais, and the Member of Parliament, Abdi Khair Bouh, the President of the Climate Development Network of Djibouti, Mr. Ahmed Ali Dimbio, the President of the Association's Apparas of Ali Sabih, Mr. Nuruddin Mohammed Qayyad, the civil society, the customary chief, and the elders of Asajak City. This award ceremony is organized jointly by the Regional Council and the Prefecture. 3 dead in a fatal accident in the region of Ali Sabih on the Asamo Road. A fatal road traffic accident occurred yesterday mornings on the road in Asamo, causing so far 3 dead, the 3 young Asajok, and several injured. This tragic accident took place around noon on the way of Asamo, where the launch of rising programs with the community of farmers and young entrepreneurs in the sectors was proposed. It is with a heavy heart that we implore the Almighty to grant them His mercy, His forgiveness, our trust, and pray to go out to their families, and especially to their parents. May Allah their patience during these hard trials. Our deepest condolences to the families following the deaths. The Minister of Finance, Ilyas Musa Dawale, the Minister of Health, Muhammad Warsama Diriye, the Minister of Interior, Mumin Ahmed, and the Minister of Labor, Isman Ibrahim Roble, the Minister of Communication and Telecommunication, Radwan Abdullahi Bahdon, the Secretary of State for Decentralization, Hamad Muhammad Aramis, the Director General of RTD, Mahmoud Suleiman Hared, and the Prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, the President of the Regional Council, Omar Ahmed Wa'ais, the Parliamentarian of the region, the elders of the Customary Chief, addressed their sincere condolence to the relatives and families of the deceased. We implore the Almighty to welcome them in His eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. On Sunday, 20 December, in the conference room of the Regional Council of Arta, the training of the leaders from the district of the regional capital took place. The training concerned the creations of new community development mutuals, the creations of the community health funds, and microcredit within the framework of the women's empowerment and family planning programs initiated by the Ministry of Women and Family, with the funding from the European Union and UNFPA. The training was chaired by the Director of the Family in the presence of the international consultant. A total of 10 women and men leaders from the neighborhood were trained. For the international scene, the new COVID-19 strains have not finished putting the UK is nervous to the tests. Listen for more detail.
New COVID-19 strains have not finished putting its UK nerves to the test. Yes, the new strains, because there is more than one, as the UK government strives to contain the spread of COVID-19 in its variant, placing in new areas of the country under partial containment from 26 December. Health Secretary Matt Hancock revealed that the 2 cases of another new variant of COVID-19 has been detected. This one is still different from the one reported since last Sunday and could come from South Africa. This new variant is of great concern because it is even more transmissible, and it seems to have muted from the new variant that has been discovered in the UK. UK Health Minister Matt Hancock said Wednesday, "We have taken the following steps. First, we are quarantining cases and contact cases discovered here in the UK. Secondly, we are imposing immediate restrictions on travel from South Africa."
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.